We're all familiar with the idea that first impressions matter, right? But here's something that might surprise you. It's not about what you say, it's about how you make others feel when you speak. And if you're still relying on the same old compliments that everyone else is throwing around, it's time to rethink your strategy. If you want to build a lasting connection, you need to shift your focus from shallow praise to recognition that truly resonates. Imagine this. You're complimenting someone in a way that speaks directly to their inner strength, their character, their emotional intelligence, things that really matter to them. What would that do for your relationship? Today, you're about to discover the top 5 forbidden compliments that will make women obsess over you, not because of how you look, but because of how deeply you recognize their true worth. These aren't your typical compliments, they're the ones that cut to the core and leave a lasting impression. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal a simple but powerful technique that will change the way you compliment people forever. Tactic 1. The power of recognition without adulation. Let's start with something simple but incredibly powerful: recognition. It's often the case that when we compliment someone, we fall into the trap of excessive praise. This is what we call adulation, where we heap praise on someone in a way that can feel disingenuous. While this might seem harmless, it can, in fact, backfire. Women, like all people, can often sense when praise feels inflated, and this can undermine the trust and connection you're trying to build. Imagine you receive praise that feels too exaggerated, almost as if it's not real. How does that make you feel? Like your true qualities aren't being seen, right? We're wired to detect insincerity in others. When compliments are too excessive or grandiose, they can feel more like manipulation than appreciation. It becomes clear that the other person is attempting to win favor through over-the-top flattery, and that rarely leads to genuine connection. In fact, rather than deepening the relationship, it creates a barrier. You may even end up questioning whether the person sees you for who you truly are. This is why true recognition is far more effective than adulation. It's rooted in authenticity. So, what's the alternative? Stoicism teaches us the power of true recognition, acknowledging someone's qualities or actions without resorting to flattery. This is a Stoic mindset for emotional control. You don't need to praise someone excessively to make them feel good. Instead, focus on recognition that shows you appreciate them for what they truly are. This speaks directly to their character and their strength, without being over the top. The Stoic way is not about inflating someone's ego, but about acknowledging their virtues in a way that feels grounded and sincere. Take, for instance, the compliment, "You have a brilliant mind, not just a pretty face." This isn't just about looks, and it doesn't make the person feel like you're trying too hard to flatter them. It acknowledges something deeper, their intelligence, which is something they have control over. Looks are temporary, but intelligence and wisdom are cultivated through effort and dedication, traits that everyone can aspire to. And, as we know from Stoicism, virtue and strength are what truly matter. Complimenting someone on their mind is a form of recognition that is genuine and deeply impactful. It says, "I see who you are beyond appearances," and it taps into their sense of self-worth, grounded in things that are truly valuable. This kind of recognition isn't just more genuine, it's more powerful. By acknowledging someone's intelligence, resilience, or integrity, you're reinforcing values that both you and they hold in high regard. Think about it. What matters most to you? Is it someone telling you that you look good, or is it someone recognizing your perseverance, your ability to learn, or your capacity to overcome challenges? For many, it's the latter. This kind of recognition speaks to the heart of what makes someone feel truly seen and appreciated. And why does this work so well? Well, it taps into something deeply human, the need to be seen for who we truly are. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our character. When you recognize someone for their inner qualities, you're not just complimenting them, you're showing them that you understand what truly matters. People long to be acknowledged for their real selves, not just the surface-level traits that can be easily changed or dismissed. You're saying, "I see your efforts, your growth, and your values, and that's something deeply empowering for the other person. It builds trust, because it shows you value what they value. So, now that we've explored the power of true recognition, think about this. How often do you find yourself complimenting someone on superficial traits? How often do you tell someone they look great, but never mention their intellect, their kindness, or their strength? What would happen if you shifted the focus to their character instead of their appearance? Would it create a stronger connection? Would it build trust and admiration in a way that surface-level praise never could? Reflect on this for a moment, and as we move forward, we'll dive deeper into another form of powerful compliment, complimenting someone's character over their appearance. Ready? Tactic 2. Complimenting her character over her appearance. Now that we've touched on recognition, let's dive into something that goes hand in hand with it, complimenting someone's character instead of their appearance. In a world that's obsessed with looks, it's easy to fall into the trap of complimenting someone based on their external features. Society bombards us with images that emphasize outward beauty, often making it feel like the most important aspect of who we are. It's a compliment we're all familiar with: "You're beautiful," "You have stunning eyes," or "You look amazing today." While these comments can certainly bring a moment of joy, they rarely form the foundation for a meaningful connection. They tend to be fleeting, momentary boosts to ego. Think about it. How long does a compliment about beauty stay with you? Sure, it feels good in the moment, but once the compliment fades, what remains? The truth is, compliments based solely on appearance can leave us feeling hollow because they're only skin deep. They don't tap into the essence of who we are. They simply acknowledge what is visible. And let's face it, beauty is temporary. It changes with age, it fluctuates with mood, and it's subjective. What we look like doesn't define who we are. It's merely a physical manifestation of who we are at a given time. Stoicism teaches us to value what is constant, what is within our control, and that is, of course, our character. A compliment focused on someone's inner qualities resonates much more profoundly than praise for their outward appearance. When you compliment someone's character, you're touching on something lasting. You're not just admiring their looks, but you're acknowledging their essence, the part of them that defines who they truly are. This is where true connection is made. For example, imagine telling someone, "Your strength of character is inspiring. You handle challenges with grace." This type of compliment is not about beauty. It's not about how they look or what they're wearing. It's about recognizing someone's courage, resilience, and emotional intelligence. These are the qualities that truly build lasting relationships. The recognition of someone's character says, "I see you. I see your struggle. I see your strength in moments of hardship." This resonates deeply because, as humans, we're wired to connect with others on a deeper level. And why does this work so well? Because people want to be recognized for their inner qualities, the things they've worked on, the struggles they've overcome, and the values they hold dear. When you compliment someone for their inner strength or emotional intelligence, you're not just boosting their ego, you're affirming their true worth. You're reminding them that what matters most is their ability to persevere, to learn, to grow, and to show up every day as their authentic self. This kind of compliment empowers the person, making them feel seen for the right reason. It's also empowering to be seen as someone who is more than just their appearance. So often, especially in a world that places so much emphasis on beauty, people can feel reduced to just their looks. They might be treated as an object or a picture on a screen, rather than as a person with depth, complexity, and experience. Complimenting someone's character acknowledges their individuality and their humanity. It says, "You're more than just what I see on the outside. I respect and admire the person you are on the inside." This kind of affirmation has a profound impact on how someone sees themselves. It builds trust and helps to cultivate a deeper connection, one that is rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Imagine the impact of telling someone, "I admire how you remain composed even when things are tough," or "Your compassion and understanding make the world a better place." These compliments affirm the qualities that truly define a person. They speak to the heart of what makes someone unique, valuable, and worthy of admiration. When you acknowledge these qualities, you're not just giving them a compliment, you're honoring their inner strength and resilience. Now, take a moment to reflect. How often do you compliment people on their character instead of their looks? Think about the relationships you have. How much deeper could they become if you focus more on what really matters? How could you make someone feel truly seen by recognizing their virtues instead of their outward appearance? This shift in focus can lead to stronger, more meaningful connections with the people around you. So, as we move forward, let's explore the next powerful compliment: high standards. It's not just about what we see in others, but also about recognizing their commitment to excellence. This silent compliment communicates admiration without the need for words. Ready to dive into that? Tactic 3. The silent compliment of high standards. Let's move on to something a bit more subtle, yet profoundly impactful: the compliment of high standards. This one may seem a little more nuanced, but it's incredibly powerful. We all know that setting high standards for ourselves can lead to personal growth, and the same applies to how we view others. When you express admiration for someone's standards, whether it's the way they approach their work, their relationships, or their life, it shows that you respect their commitment to excellence. And this doesn't come from words alone. It's a compliment that's often felt more in silence than in praise. It's the quiet recognition of someone's dedication and drive. Think about it for a moment. How often do you take the time to notice not just what someone has achieved, but how they achieve it? The process, the effort, the discipline. This is the essence of the silent compliment. Complimenting someone for their high standards is not about congratulating them for the result, but for the consistency and commitment they bring to everything they do. It's about saying, "I see the way you show up every day, the effort you put in, and the commitment to bettering yourself." It's about valuing their pursuit of excellence, not just the final product. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to set high standards for ourselves, to constantly strive for excellence, and to avoid complacency. But high standards aren't just about pushing ourselves, they're also about recognizing the effort and dedication of others. Complimenting someone for their pursuit of excellence is a powerful way to show your admiration. When you tell someone, "I respect the way you pursue excellence in everything you do," you're acknowledging their dedication, their work ethic, and their focus on self-improvement. You're saying, "I see your effort, and I value it." This type of compliment doesn't rely on immediate praise for a specific achievement, but instead, it's focused on the person's ongoing pursuit of greatness. It's like a quiet nod to their drive and determination, and that's something that really sticks with people. When you focus on someone's journey, not just the destination, you show them that you value their process. It's about acknowledging that someone isn't just coasting through life, they're actively engaged in striving for the best. This is where the true depth of respect is shown, because you're recognizing the sustained effort, not just the results. It's the steady, determined progress that deserves acknowledgement. Why does this work so well? Because it reinforces the idea that effort, rather than just outcomes, is what truly matters. It shows that you value the process of growth. And isn't that what Stoicism is all about? It's not about seeking external validation or chasing after fleeting rewards. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, consistent, persistent, and always striving for excellence. It's a mindset that embraces the journey as much as the destination. Take a moment and reflect. How often do you focus on the process rather than just the result? How often do you take a step back and appreciate the work, the struggle, and the dedication someone puts into their craft or their goals? Acknowledging high standards is more than just recognizing success. It's about recognizing the value of effort itself, which is something that is always within a person's control. The recognition of effort speaks directly to someone's character, their resilience, and their commitment to growth. It's a form of praise that will stay with them longer than any superficial compliment could. So, let's think about how this works in practice. Imagine someone in your life who is consistently striving for self-improvement. They put in the hours at work, they're always learning, and they never settle for mediocrity. Acknowledge that. Tell them, "I admire the way you approach everything with such dedication and focus." You don't just do the bare minimum, you're always pushing yourself to be better. This type of recognition goes a long way. It builds deeper respect and reinforces the idea that what they do matters, not because of the end result, but because of the unwavering effort they put into it. Now, as we think about how high standards impact others, let's talk about the next subtle but deeply impactful compliment, the one that recognizes emotional intelligence. This quality is just as important as the pursuit of excellence, and often, it's what truly differentiates someone who just gets by from someone who truly excels in life. Ready? Tactic 4. The subtle compliment of emotional intelligence. Now, let's explore something that's often overlooked but incredibly potent, the compliment of emotional intelligence. It's easy to get caught up in praising people for their achievement, but emotional intelligence? That's the real game changer. It's the ability to manage one's emotions effectively and understand the emotions of others, which plays a significant role in how we navigate the world around us. Emotional intelligence allows us to stay grounded during a storm, to empathize with others, and to navigate the complexities of relationships in ways that intelligence alone simply cannot. As we know from Stoic philosophy, being in control of our emotion and understanding others is a key pillar of personal growth and resilience. Stoicism doesn't advocate for the suppression of emotions. Rather, it teaches us to acknowledge and control them, to use them as signals for action. In a world that often values intellect over emotional awareness, the ability to master one's emotions is a rare and profound trait. Imagine, for a moment, a situation where someone remains calm and composed while others around them are falling apart. That's emotional intelligence in action. It's the ability to pause, take a breath, and act thoughtfully, even when everything around you is chaotic. This is the kind of person who doesn't let frustration, stress, or external pressure dictate their actions. When you witness this kind of emotional control, it's truly impressive. It's not something you see every day. People who can stay composed in a crisis are like anchors in a storm. They're a stabilizing force, offering clarity when confusion reigns. And when you recognize this strength in someone, you're honoring their ability to think clearly, not be swayed by temporary emotions, and act with wisdom. This is exactly what Stoicism encourages. When you say, "The way you stay calm under pressure is impressive," you're acknowledging their emotional resilience. You're acknowledging their capacity to deal with life's difficulties with grace and poise. This kind of compliment doesn't just recognize their actions, it celebrates their ability to manage themselves in the most trying situation. This isn't about how they look or what they've achieved externally. This is about their internal strength. And that is what makes this compliment so meaningful. It's a compliment that goes beyond the surface, recognizing something that's not always visible but always powerful. Why does this compliment work so effectively? Because emotional intelligence is one of the most important skills a person can possess in today's world. In a fast-paced, high-pressure society, the ability to maintain emotional equilibrium is invaluable. It's not just about intelligence or knowledge, it's about how you handle yourself and others in moments of stress, frustration, or even conflict. People with high emotional intelligence tend to have better relationships, are more self-aware, and exhibit greater empathy. They don't react impulsively, they respond with purpose, and that makes all the difference. It's easy to react to frustration with anger or stress, but people who master emotional intelligence are able to take a step back, process their emotions, and choose the best course of action. This is where the Stoic approach to emotions becomes relevant. In Stoicism, emotions are seen not as something to suppress, but as signals we can learn from and respond to in a controlled, constructive way. Stoics believe that our emotions are valuable. They are not something to be ignored, but rather something to be understood. When we recognize someone's emotional intelligence, we're acknowledging their mastery over an aspect of life that many people struggle with, the ability to stay composed, empathetic, and aware. It's not easy, and it's certainly not something everyone can do. That's why it's such a powerful compliment. Reflect for a moment. When was the last time you acknowledged someone for their emotional intelligence? How often do you notice the way people handle tough situations with grace and poise? It's so easy to focus on what people do, But how often do we stop to appreciate how they handle what life throws at them? Recognizing these qualities in others can create stronger, more meaningful connections. People feel valued and understood when their emotional intelligence is noticed and appreciated. And now that we've discussed the power of emotional intelligence, let's explore the next subtle complement, independence, and how it can be appreciated without being clingy. It's another key aspect of emotional intelligence and personal strength, and it's something that can form the foundation for deeper, more genuine connections. Ready? Tactic 5. Complementing her independence without clinginess. Let's wrap things up by diving into one of the most powerful and empowering compliments you can give, recognizing someone's independence. It's crucial to understand the delicate balance here. Too often, compliments that highlight someone's independence can come across as distant praise, almost as if you're setting yourself apart from them. But when done correctly, it's a subtle compliment that shows you respect their autonomy and strength without feeling the need to be overly involved. It's about recognizing someone for standing strong on their own terms, without coming across as clingy or overbearing. This is where the real power of connection lies, understanding the beauty of someone being self-sufficient without needing constant validation. We live in a world where it can be easy to rely on others for reassurance, for emotional support, or for validation. But true strength comes from within. The Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of self-sufficiency. It's about not depending on others for our happiness or emotional well-being. This principle applies not only to ourselves, but to others as well. In a world that often encourages dependence, acknowledging someone's independence is a way of honoring their ability to stand on their own, making decisions, and moving forward with confidence. Complimenting someone for their independence means you see them as someone who doesn't need external validation to feel complete. It's a form of admiration for their ability to navigate life without clinging to others for support. It's saying, I see you as a strong, independent person who can thrive without relying on anyone else to define your worth. It acknowledges that they possess the emotional strength to face challenges alone, without the need for reassurance or dependence on others. This compliment speaks volumes about your respect for them as an individual and their ability to manage their own life. Consider a simple yet powerful compliment like, I admire your ability to stand on your own. You're not afraid to take charge of your life. This compliment goes beyond simply saying someone is strong. It recognizes their capacity to make decisions, take responsibility, and move forward with confidence. It acknowledges that they are not looking for constant reassurance or validation from others. They are self-reliant, and that's something truly admirable. This doesn't just recognize their independence, it celebrates their courage in standing firm on their own, even when the world around them might not always offer support. Why is this so powerful? Because independence is incredibly attractive, and in Stoicism, it's viewed as a virtue. People who can maintain their sense of self without needing constant approval from others exude confidence, and that confidence is magnetic. When you recognize someone's independence, you're also recognizing their maturity and emotional strength. It's a compliment that shows respect for their individuality, and it allows them to feel appreciated for who they truly are, not for what they can provide or how they can serve others. It tells them that you admire them for the person they are, not just the things they can do for you or others. When you acknowledge someone's independence, it affirms their sense of self and allows them to feel valued for their intrinsic worth, not just their actions. This form of compliment isn't about making someone feel like they need to prove themselves or do more. Instead, it's about recognizing their innate power and celebrating the fact that they don't need anyone else to validate who they are. Pause for a second. How often do you acknowledge someone's independence? Do you find yourself giving compliments that make them feel like they need your support to thrive? Or do you honor their ability to thrive on their own? Think about how powerful it could be to shift your focus from needing others to lean on to celebrating their ability to stand strong. Understanding this distinction can help you build stronger, healthier relationships, ones based on mutual respect for independence. So, take a moment to reflect on this. What would happen if you started complimenting others more for their self-sufficiency, their inner strength, and their ability to stand alone? How might that change the way you connect with people? By recognizing their independence, you're not only making them feel seen for who they truly are, but you're also contributing to the kind of dynamic relationships that foster trust, respect, and emotional maturity. These are the kinds of compliments that make real connections, deepening the bond between people. And now, as we wrap up, reflect on how these different types of compliments, recognizing someone's character, emotional intelligence, high standards, and independence, can change the way you interact with others. Think about how these simple yet meaningful compliments can leave you with deeper connections and stronger relationships that go far beyond surface-level interactions. When we focus on what truly matters in others, we open the door to a new realm of genuine connection. As we've explored, the true power of compliments lies not in the words themselves, but in how they connect with the deeper qualities of the person you're speaking to. By shifting your focus from superficial praise to recognizing someone's character, emotional intelligence, and independence, you build a foundation of respect and admiration that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. Remember, the Stoic mindset isn't just about self-discipline, it's about acknowledging what truly matters in others. When you compliment someone's strength of character, emotional resilience, or ability to stand on their own, you're not just flattering them, you're honoring their essence. If you've gained insight from today's video, I encourage you to put these strategies into practice. Start recognizing the qualities in others that truly matter, and watch how your relationships transform. Now, don't forget, if you found value in this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who could use these powerful insights. Let's build a community where real connections are made. Don't miss out on the next video.